So, guys, elder statesman Edward Clark has called on Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu the way he released Myetti Allah leader. So, guys, it came as a surprise to Nigerians after Myetti Allah leader was arrested for setting up his own security force. And all of a sudden we heard that he has been released, and people were like, why is it that it appears the leaders in this country, is it that they're afraid of the northern youths or what? Because it wasn't clear why he was released. Anyway, the Fulani youths took to the streets and told Tinubu, gave him serious warning that if he does not release their leader, he should be expecting what their radical groups are going to be doing. Let me allow you to take a look at that video.
So they must release him unconditionally, because we are peace-loving people. We came here peacefully. We deliver our message peacefully, and we do not intend to cause havoc or cause any violence. But if we are pushed to the wall, we don't know what some of our radical members might do. So it is incumbent on the Nigerian government and the security agencies to, without further delay, release Bello Bodejo unconditionally.
So, guys, you've seen it for yourself. You can imagine that level of threat. You can imagine that level of threat. And I tell you, Tinubu had no other option than to bow to the pressure. So finally, he released the Fulani leader. Why is it that people are not treated fairly in this country? Why is it that when it comes to the Igbos, things are done differently? Why this enmity? Why are we not carrying everybody along in this country? It's not every Igbo man that is saying Nigeria should be divided. There are people who still want to belong to Nigeria. But from all these treatments, what do you expect people to start thinking? People from the Southeast are really feeling marginalized. Go to the Southeast. There is no presence of the federal government, like we all know. And one keeps wondering why the hatred for Igbos. Take a look at this video.
Yorubas are the key problem of Nigeria. So they bring the Hausa are the major issue, the Fulani part of the Hausas. Now, the Yorubas are the core people that instigate these problems and violence. And when they instigate it, they will stand out, they will separate themselves from the trouble and allow everybody to face it. Because you hate the Igbos, you hate their progress. You thought that after 1970 they will not wake up. Those guys woke up through hard work. 40 years, they have come to be richer than all of you put together. Because you are foolish, you don't even know what is riches. So you thought that when you have one champion that have stolen all the money, or someone have directed in government have aided him to make all the money, and that makes your region rich. Your region is rich because you have more rich people than poor people. But unfortunately, in the other two big regions, they have more poor people. Far more. In the north side, it's about 98% poor people with just 2% rich people. In the southwest, it's about 70% rich poor people struggling. That's why there's no if you want to know how a state is faring, just look at their IGR. Apart from Lagos, that is a federal project that was built with federal money, there's no Yoruba state that can boast of good IGR. Neither is there any northern state that can boast of good IGR. So they are poor by their nature. But you see these Igbos, they are rich. Naturally, they come to your town, they build good houses. I don't know any big house that is owned by Hausa man in my state, Akwa Ibom. I don't know one. Maybe there is, but I don't know. But I can mention plazas, hotels that are built by Igbo in Kano, in Lagos, in Kaduna, in several places that I've been to, because they are nationalists. The Igbo were not the one that called for Nigeria independence, but they were killed for it. It was an Edo man that called for Nigeria independence, but when they wanted to do a reprisal attack, they killed the Igbos. So here is the problem. What is the problem of the Igbos, if not that you just hate progress? And you want this garden place called Nigeria to work when you're busy killing those who should make it work.
So, guys, honestly, everybody is calling on Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu so that Nigeria can know peace, and also the Southeast can know peace, because some criminal elements are using Nnamdi Kanu's name to commit a whole lot of havocs. So if you release Nnamdi Kanu and he is out from the detention, you will then know who are the real enemies of the Southeast, who are the people causing all this havoc in the Southeast. Don't forget that even Atiku Abubakar has told Tinubu, just let Nnamdi Kanu go. And this is also coming from elder statesman Edward Clark telling Tinubu to let Nnamdi Kanu go. Just the way you let Myetti Allah leader go. Just let this man go so that the Southeast will be able to identify who is the real enemy of the state. So you may not know what the Southeast is going through. Nigerians, a whole lot is happening. The businesses are not working. Nothing is happening in the Southeast because somebody is held in detention. And that is why Edward Clark is lending his voice, telling Tinubu to order his AGF to release Nnamdi Kanu.
And the violence that seems to have erupted in the Southeast.
Well, what we are seeing in the Southeast is synchronized violence, synchronized by certain people, definitely not by Igbos.
Okay.
Those people who are doing that are foreigners. If you see a group of Igbo people moving, from their physiognomy, you will know. Now, one of the things that people did in the Southeast was to get close to them, speak Igbo to them, and without exception, they responded in broken English. And you saw the other man speaking on Sunday, being displayed by the police as the only surviving person among those who attended to burn the prisons again. The man was given an Igbo name. And when he spoke, he had a northern accent. But back to your question about what is really happening. In the past 2 years or more, the clamor for a president of Nigeria coming from the Southeast has been on. And if you notice, up to the past 3 months, there was no problem in the Southeast, 4 months. What happened? Suddenly, if you read some papers published in Abuja, you see Igbos are killing Northerners. You call those in the South, they say, what are you talking about? It has nothing to do with any Igbo man or any Northerner. What we are witnessing is a programmed action by some people to destabilize the Southeast, indeed the whole of Igbo land, with a message: Igbo land is unstable. If you're unstable, how then can you produce a president? That is the real key in issue. The herdsmen have always been there. But if you notice, for the past 3 or 4 months, issue of the herdsmen had died down, except in Ebonyi State, where up to last Sunday, the herdsmen were still killing people.
But we cannot deny the fact that these destruction and arson attacks are taking place in the Southeast region on security formations, on electoral body, INEC offices, and of course, killing of the security officials themselves. So the question is, how does this make a call or a point for, or an argument for inclusion? If you say marginalization and inequity has been, the reason for this clamor, and some would say for the clamor of cessation, how do these arson attacks and killings and destruction make a point for inclusion? And who stands to benefit from these attacks? Why have they not gone? Why do they continue to recur, in your opinion?
First correction is this: who is doing the destruction?
Exactly.
Who is attacking police formations? Who is attacking the INEC? If you notice the targets: election conducting body, security body. In the first place, Igbos are not destroyers. Igbos are builders. Since the end of the war, the federal government has not been building police stations in the Igbo land. Every structure you see there, apart from the old prisons in Owerri, which was built in the 1950s, is the result of the contribution of people. I'll give you an example. I come from a Bano local government of Imo State. Recently, the police divisional quarters was destroyed, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. What most people don't know is that building was built by the community, Nso community, and donated to the police last December. So why will the people who built turn around to destroy? For what purpose? The average Igbo man knows that those who are doing the destroying are not Igbos. The special squad of security men sent by federal government are also not Igbos. Okay. So it's a case of the policemen will come, shoot into the air, stray bullet to land on people. And then the unknown gunmen will move around in brand new Hilux trucks. Shoots into the air with faces covered. Once in a while, people will get close and do like this, and then they take closer look at them.
So if you say the Igbos are not destroying, who then is carrying out these attacks?
The unknown gunmen. It is not by accident that they call them unknown gunmen. That's why I said, if you go to Alaba today, you know there's an Igbo section. If you see there, from the physiognomy, you say these are Igbos. If you turn towards the right, you see Alaba Rago. That's where the Hausa traders are. You also see their physiognomy. If I go to Jankara Market here in Lagos, you don't need to be told these are Yorubas. So if the unknown gunmen cover their faces, once in a while people go, they speak Igbo to them, sing in Igbo, they won't even respond.
This is quite a strong...
It is a revelation.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem they have now in Igbo land is that if they see somebody of my age, they will go after me. Police will arrest me and call me a financier. If they see my son, they will grab him and say it's an activist. Send him to the police station, military barracks, or anywhere. You have to run around to get him out. And you know what it means to Nigeria for someone to run around. I don't mean real race. You have to do something. Otherwise, you see him on TV the next day confessing to things he did not do. Because when they torture you, you have no option. And remember, Archbishop Obinna, the Archbishop of Owerri Catholic Diocese, last Sunday came out almost weeping that the morgue where they keep dead bodies, that place is overflowing. 35 unidentified bodies. The Nigerian Bar Association came out and said, we have set up a unit to liaise with the police commission. That's how they have been able to rescue some people, including the man who came from Bayelsa, who was going to buy a casket for his father-in-law's burial. The one was grabbed and displayed on TV as a high-ranking chief.
Permit me to just interject, because you're making strong assertions, and we wonder why this hasn't come to light in a more public forum. But let me just ask, what we do know, though, is that there was I'm glad you said you're from Imo State. Yes. There was a sit-at-home order, and it would seem that largely it was obeyed. So that would then beg the question, who is in charge? You know, we want to bring up the issue of IPOB because they've made certain assertions. And then we want to ask the question as well regarding Imo State. It's hard to put this. There have been assertions by people in Imo State that since the current governor came into being, that Imo State hasn't known peace. So suggesting that his coming in as governor has also triggered some of these violent attacks. What's your take on that?
Let me take them one by one. Issue of sit at home. To observe a day for our departed brothers, those who died during the war, has been on since 1970. So it depends on the government of the day to make it a focal point.
No, I'm talking about how it was enforced. There was intimidation behind it.
No, there was no intimidation. Listen, what you saw was what we call a charade. Some people will wear black and red and be moving around in Mosaic. You think the Igbos are not Igbos. That's the point I was making. The unknown gunmen are not Igbos. As for Day of Mourning, it's observed every year. You have seen the one of 30. September 9, some people will also observe their own. They don't make noise about it. They just call their own Yom Kippur. We call our own mourning our dead. 2, IPOB is what I would call a phenomenon that has risen because of injustice, because of lack of fair playing ground, because of arrant discrimination. Now, nature abhors vacuum. So whenever there is this kind of lack of inclusiveness, grumbling will come in. All it takes is somebody to harvest that they're grumbling and say, this man is doing something bad. Let's see what I can do. Believe me, the average person will join. On the issue of the governor, I better leave it at that. Is the governor in charge of any security force there? No. If he says something negative, they'll go against him. You know where he lives in Owerri? It's called the fortress. On one side is Army Chief's house, Police Chief, DSS, Air Force. All of them live in a circle. And the police headquarters and the prisons that were just burned down, you just opposite them.
Okay.
CCTV showed all those who do the attacking Do you know that till today, none of these groups I mentioned ever produced a CCTV?
And I mean, a lot of people watch will be wondering, why is nobody being brought to book? Where are the perpetrators? But in the absence of state police, we've seen vigilantes across the country, states having to form their own vigilantes, and as well as regional security. Same as the Southeast with Ebube Agu. They don't seem to be making much headway. What have the governors got wrong when it comes to security of their states and, of course, the region, Southeast in particular now?
Well, I don't want to call it intimidation from Abuja. I also don't want to call it timidity of the governors. No. Let me say it's a case of 3 political parties having governors in the Southeast. 3 political, PDP has 2. That's Enugu and Abia. Enugu has always had a Babago. They have a name for their own, and they have bosses for them. Abia State, yes, its own is not as elaborate as that of Enugu. Imo State also passed a law a long time ago outlawing open grazing, and they also passed a law establishing a Babago. But then the governor said he has sent some people to train the military barracks in Anambra State, so that when they come, they form the nucleus. Now, the man in Anambra also has his own. His own method is different, because there are 3 parties. They have different methods. Abga said, okay, if you kill a cow, you pay. If you kill a human being, you pay. And they're enforcing it. So when you're talking of a Bagu to them, they may say we have something different. The man in Ebo, he has just joined APC. And he's also the chairman, so he's been drawn on one side. Unfortunately, his state is the worst hit by the killer herdsmen. Up till this Sunday, we're still killing. Now, the governors are also, well, I think they're handicapped. But remember this, there are killings all over the country, in all the zones. And in terms of number, in terms of statistics, Kaduna State has had more people killed or kidnapped than the whole of Southeast and South put together. Yeah, the IG of police, when he came, he said, I'm concentrating on Southeast and South. In other words, they know what they're doing. So those special squads sent to Imo State because of this crisis, are they putting anything together? Their job is to go and block the road. I saw them. I was there Saturday before last. For me to pass, all the roads were blocked in the city. For me to go to the airport, I had to call one man. When I noticed his less unfriendly appearance, I said, I just joked. He said he was an Ishan man. I said, Ishan Wayo? He laughed. He said, Ishan. I said, okay, Oba talk me. He said, he relaxed. He said, Oga pass. That's how I was able to go to the airport. The next day, Sunday, Golak was killed. The insecurity there is there, but it's artificial. Okay.
You seem to be blaming, you seem to be blaming everyone else, particularly the federal government, except for those in the region.
Because we are not destroyers. The average Igbo man is a builder. That Owerri airport was built, started by this Ambaku, with people contributing 1 naira. Everything you have in Imo State was built by the people, not by the government.
Okay, let me just bring this in, because
my position was very clear, and that's still my position. The insecurity you have seen in the Southeast was imported because of where we are going now. So that they would demarcate people like us from the Southeast that we cannot be president because there is insecurity in our place. It was imported. And the difference from that time and now is that they have now been able to get some locals who are now doing this dirty job. As at the time we had the jailbreak in Owerri, those people were not Igbos. They were not IPOB. They were not ESN. I said it then, Google, you will see my position. But they have discovered that will be exposing them too much, those who did it. Now they have succeeded in recruiting locals, never-do-wells, charlatans, who have nothing to do, no skill, no education. They are the ones doing the killings today in the Southeast. So, and the intendment has not changed. The intendment is to demarket the Southeast so that every Nigerian will see how can you be president when there is insecurity in your place, as if that is the only place we have had such a thing, which is a new thing in the Southeast. What is happening in the Southeast is alien to us. It is not part of our culture. It is not part of our tradition. And somebody like us will have condemned it in its entirety. So let anybody take it the way he likes. This is not our doing.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. I don't know what you make of this video. Honestly, Edward Clark has sent a very serious and sincere message to Tinubu. Just release this man. Let him go. Buhari landed him in the custody of the DS is just because of that natural hatred that a northerner has for and is a southeasterner. You know, there is that natural hatred there. And that was why Buhari did everything he could do to bring Nnamdi Kanu to the southeast, back to Nigeria, and since then he has been in detention. The court has even ordered his release, and they are not paying attention to that. Everybody's paying deaf ears to what the court is saying, and even Buhari left office without listening to the court. The same thing is Tinubu saying, doing the same thing Tinubu is still doing, not listening to the court that has ask them to release Nnamdi Kanu. So guys, let me know what you make of all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.